The sun peeked over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. In the quiet town of Meadow Creek lived Alex, a 13-year-old with a heart full of dreams and a tennis racket glued to his hand. He wasn't the tallest kid in school, not by a long shot. In fact, he was often the shortest on the tennis court, a fact that didn't go unnoticed by everyone. Alex loved tennis more than anything. The satisfying thwack of the ball against his racket, the strategic dance around the court, the thrill of a well-placed shot, it all filled him with joy. He dreamt of Wimbledon, of holding the trophy high above his head. But that dream felt miles away, especially when he had to face the reality of his everyday life. He wasn't just short, he was noticeably shorter than most of the other kids his age, and this difference made him an easy target for the school bullies. While he had a vibrant spirit and a passion for tennis, his stature often led to insecurities and moments of self-doubt. He often felt like a small boat navigating a large, stormy sea. His small size made him feel like an underdog, and he was determined to prove that height wasn't everything. He imagined that the tennis court was his stage, a place where he could silence the doubts and let his skills speak for themselves. He was ready to work harder than anyone else, and he knew that he had to find a way to turn his perceived weakness into a strength. Little did he know, his journey wouldn't be easy, but it would be one filled with resilience, determination, and the unwavering belief in himself. The tennis court was his sanctuary, his training ground, and his stage, and he was about to embark on a path that would test his limits and redefine what it meant to be a champion. The hallways of Meadow Creek Middle School could be a daunting place for Alex. While he tried to navigate them with confidence, there was always the looming presence of Mark and his crew. Mark was bigger, taller, and seemingly louder than everyone else. He saw Alex's height, or lack thereof, as an open invitation for taunts and teasing. "Hey, shorty!" Mark would yell, his voice echoing through the crowded halls. "Still reaching for those high serves?" His friends would snicker, making Alex's cheeks burn with embarrassment. The bullying wasn't just verbal. Sometimes, Mark would accidentally bump into Alex, sending his book scattering across the floor. Other times, they'd hide his tennis racket or fill his water bottle with sand. It was a constant barrage of petty cruelty designed to make Alex feel small and insignificant. Mark's friends, a trio of equally unpleasant characters named Jake, Ryan, and Tom, were always eager to join in. They'd mimic Alex's tennis stance, exaggerating his movements and making him look ridiculous. "Look at Shorty trying to serve an ace." Jake would shriek, earning another round of laughter from the group. The worst part was that it wasn't just during school hours. Mark and his friends often hung out at the local tennis courts, making it difficult for Alex to practice without facing their torment. They'd make rude comments about his playing style, his height, and his chances of ever becoming a good tennis player. "You'll never make it to Wimbledon, Shorty," Mark would sneer. "You're too small, too weak. Stick to playing checkers." These words stung, but Alex refused to let them break him. He knew that Mark and his friends were just trying to bring him down, to crush his dreams. But Alex had a fire burning inside him, a determination to prove them wrong. He would use their negativity as fuel, pushing himself harder and harder to become the best tennis player he could be. He would show them that height wasn't everything, and that heart and skill could triumph over any obstacle. The sting of Mark's words lingered long after the school day ended. Alex knew he couldn't let the bullying define him. He needed a plan, a way to rise above the negativity and prove his worth on the tennis court. He knew he couldn't magically grow taller, but he could become faster, more agile, and more skilled. That night, sleep evaded him. He tossed and turned, replaying Mark's taunts in his head. Finally, an idea sparked. He would train in secret, before anyone else was even awake. He'd use the early morning hours to hone his skills and build his strength. The next morning, before the first hint of sunlight touched the sky, Alex tiptoed out of his house. The air was crisp and cool, and a blanket of stars twinkled above. He made his way to the local tennis courts, the only sound his sneakers padding softly on the pavement. The courts were deserted, bathed in the eerie glow of the streetlights. Alex took a deep breath and began his training. He started with footwork drills, practicing quick steps and agile movements. He imagined Mark's sneering face and used the anger as fuel, pushing himself harder and faster. He practiced his serves, focusing on accuracy and spin. He knew he couldn't rely on power alone, so he worked on placing the ball strategically, making it difficult for his opponent to return. He visualized each shot, imagining the perfect trajectory and the satisfying thud as the ball landed exactly where he wanted it to. He spent hours running sprints, improving his speed and endurance. He knew that being able to cover the court quickly was essential for a shorter player. He pictured himself chasing down every ball, never giving up, never letting his opponent see him tire. As the sun began to rise, painting the sky with vibrant colors, Alex felt a sense of accomplishment. He was exhausted, but he was also energized. He knew that this was just the beginning, but he was determined to keep pushing himself, to keep improving, to keep proving Mark and his friends wrong. This secret training was his weapon, his way of fighting back against the bullying and chasing his Wimbledon dream. He wouldn't let anyone, especially not Mark, stand in his way. Weeks turned into months, and Alex's secret training continued. The early mornings became a routine, a sacred time dedicated to honing his skills. He knew he couldn't keep it a secret forever, but he enjoyed the solitude, the quiet focus, and the feeling of progress. One morning, as Alex was practicing his backhand, a familiar figure appeared at the edge of the court. It was Ms. Evans, the school's tennis coach. Alex froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He was sure she'd be angry that he was using the courts without permission. "Alex?" Ms. Evans called out, her voice surprisingly gentle. "What are you doing out here so early?" Alex hesitated, unsure of what to say. He mumbled something about practicing, bracing himself for a lecture. But instead of scolding him, Ms. Evans smiled. "I've seen you around," she said. "I've noticed how dedicated you are. I admire your spirit." Alex was taken aback. He'd always admired Ms. Evans. She was a fantastic coach, and he'd always been too intimidated to approach her. "I know you're shorter than the other players," Ms. Evans continued, "but that doesn't mean you can't be just as good, or even better. You just need to play smarter, to use your agility to your advantage." She offered to help him, to guide him in his training. Alex's face lit up. This was an opportunity he couldn't pass up. With Ms. Evans' guidance, Alex's training became even more focused and effective. She helped him develop a unique playing style, one that emphasized speed, agility, and strategic shot placement. She taught him how to anticipate his opponent's moves, how to use the court to his advantage, and how to turn his perceived weakness into a strength. Ms. Evans also became a mentor to Alex, offering encouragement and support whenever he felt discouraged. She reminded him that hard work and perseverance could overcome any obstacle, and that believing in himself was the most important thing of all. With Ms. Evans by his side, Alex felt like he could conquer anything. The Wimbledon dream felt a little closer now. The next few months were a whirlwind of training. The sun rose and set on a montage of Alex working tirelessly. We see him sweating under Ms. Evans' watchful eye, pushing his body to its limits. Fast cuts of Alex leaping across the court, his sneakers squeaking as he changes direction with lightning speed. Star. Close-up on his determined face, beads of sweat dripping from his brow as he relentlessly practices his serves, each shot more precise than the last. Star. Ms. Evans demonstrating a new technique, Alex watching intently, absorbing every detail. Star. Alex struggling to reach a high shot, but refusing to give up, digging deep and finding the strength to make the return. Star. Quick cuts of jump rope exercises, agility ladder drills, and cone weaving, showcasing his improved footwork and coordination. Star. Ms. Evans challenged Alex to think differently about the game. "Tennis isn't just about hitting the ball hard," she explained. It's about strategy, about anticipating your opponent's moves, about using your strengths to exploit their weaknesses. She had him studying videos of famous tennis players, analyzing their techniques and strategies. They spent hours discussing different match scenarios, exploring various tactics and approaches. Alex learned to use his smaller size to his advantage. He became a master of the drop shot, luring his opponents to the net before catching them off guard with a perfectly placed soft shot. He also developed a wicked slice, making the balls skid low and fast, forcing his opponents to scramble. He wasn't just training his body, he was training his mind. He learned to stay calm under pressure, to focus on the present moment, and to believe in himself, even when things got tough. The bullying from Mark and his friends continued, but it no longer had the same effect on Alex. He was still annoyed by their taunts, but he refused to let them define him. He knew that he was working hard, that he was improving every day, and that he had the support of Ms. Evans. He was becoming a tennis player they couldn't ignore. He channeled his frustration into his training, using their negativity as fuel to propel himself forward. He would show them, on the court, what he was truly capable of. The local tennis association announced a junior tournament, and Alex, with Ms. Evans' encouragement, decided to enter. It would be his first real competition, a chance to test his skills against other players. He was nervous, but also excited. On the day of the tournament, Alex felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety. He saw Mark and his friends standing near the entrance, their faces etched with smug grins. "Good luck, Shorty," Mark called out, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You're going to need it." Alex tried to ignore them, focusing on the task ahead. He reminded himself of all the hard work he'd put in, all the hours of training, all the support he'd received from Ms. Evans. He wouldn't let Mark's words get to him. His first match was against a taller, stronger player. Alex used his speed and agility to his advantage, running down every ball and forcing his opponent to make mistakes. He won the match in a close tiebreaker, boosting his confidence. He advanced through the early rounds, winning match after match. His unique playing style and unwavering determination impressed the spectators. He was becoming known as the little guy with the big heart. Finally, he reached the semifinals. His opponent was a skilled player with a powerful serve. Alex struggled to return his serves, falling behind early in the match. He remembered Ms. Evans' words, "Never give up, Alex. Even when things get tough, keep fighting. Believe in yourself." He dug deep, finding the strength to battle back. He adjusted his strategy, using his drop shots and slices to disrupt his opponent's rhythm. He won the second set and forced a third set tiebreaker. In the tiebreaker, Alex played with incredible focus and determination. He hit every shot with precision and purpose, never giving his opponent an inch. He won the tiebreaker, securing his place in the finals. To his dismay, he found out his opponent in the finals would be none other than Mark. The thought of facing his tormentor in such a crucial match filled him with dread, but he knew he couldn't back down. He had come too far. He would face Mark, and he would give it his all. Win or lose, he would show Mark that he was no longer the same kid he used to bully. He was a tennis player, and he was ready to fight. The atmosphere at the finals was electric. A small crowd had gathered to watch the match, drawn by the story of the little guy who had defied the odds to reach the championship round. Ms. Evans stood courtside, offering Alex words of encouragement and support. Mark strutted onto the court, his face radiating confidence. He smirked at Alex, shaking his head mockingly. "Ready to lose, Shorty," he taunted. Alex ignored him, focusing on his pre-match routine. He bounced on the balls of his feet, stretched his muscles, and took a few deep breaths. He wouldn't let Mark's words distract him. The match began, and Mark immediately took control. His powerful serves and aggressive ground strokes put Alex on the defensive. Alex struggled to keep up, making uncharacteristic errors. Mark won the first set easily, 6-2. Alex felt a wave of disappointment wash over him. He had trained so hard, but he was being outplayed by his tormentor. Ms. Evans called him over during the break. "Alex, you're letting him get into your head," she said, her voice firm but encouraging. "Forget about the bullying. Focus on your game. Use your speed and agility. Make him work for every point." Alex took her words to heart. He returned to the court with a renewed sense of determination. He adjusted his strategy, using his drop shots and slices to disrupt Mark's rhythm. He started anticipating Mark's shots, moving quickly to cover the court. He won a few games, but Mark was still too strong. Mark won the second set 6-4, securing the championship. Although Alex had lost, he knew he had shown significant improvement. He had pushed Mark harder than anyone else in the tournament, and he had proven that he was a force to be reckoned with. As he walked off the court, defeated but not broken, he saw a flicker of respect in Mark's eyes. It wasn't much, but it was enough to give Alex hope. He knew that he was on the right track, and that with continued hard work and dedication, he could achieve his Wimbledon dream. The loss stung, but he would use it as motivation to train even harder. He would come back stronger, faster, and more determined than ever before. This was just the beginning. The days following the tournament were tough. Mark and his friends were relentless in their mockery. They paraded around school, chanting, "Shorty lost. Shorty lost." They even created a cartoon depicting Alex as a tiny figure being squashed by a giant tennis ball. Alex tried to ignore them, but their taunts were constant and unavoidable. He started to doubt himself, wondering if he would ever be good enough to compete with the top players. He even considered quitting tennis altogether. Ms. Evans saw his discouragement and stepped in to offer support. "Alex, don't let them get to you," she said. "They're just trying to tear you down because they're insecure. You have talent, determination, and a great coach. Don't let their negativity steal your dreams." She reminded him of all the progress he had made, of all the obstacles he had overcome. She encouraged him to use their taunts as fuel, to channel his anger and frustration into his training. Alex took Ms. Evans' advice to heart. He decided that he wouldn't let Mark and his friends break him. He would use their words as motivation to train even harder, to become even better. He returned to the tennis courts with a renewed sense of purpose. He pushed himself harder than ever before, focusing on his weaknesses and refining his strengths. He practiced his serves until his arm ached, he ran sprints until his legs burned, and he worked on his footwork until he could move around the court like lightning. He also started working with a sports psychologist, who helped him develop mental toughness and resilience. He learned how to block out distractions, how to stay focused under pressure, and how to believe in himself, even when things got tough. The bullying continued, but it no longer had the same effect on Alex. He was still annoyed by their taunts, but he refused to let them define him. He knew that he was working hard, that he was improving every day, and that he had the support of Ms. Evans and his family. He was becoming a stronger, more confident tennis player, both on and off the court. He was determined to prove Mark and his friends wrong, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way. The road to Wimbledon would be paved with hard work and perseverance, and he was ready to walk it. 3 years passed in a blur of intense training and unwavering dedication. Alex was now 16 years old. He had grown a few inches, but he was still shorter than most of his peers. However, what he lacked in height, he more than made up for in skill and determination. His game had transformed. He was no longer just a scrappy underdog, he was a formidable player with a well-rounded arsenal of shots. His serves had become more powerful and precise, his ground strokes were more consistent and aggressive, and his footwork was even quicker and more agile. He had mastered the art of the drop shot and slice, using them to disrupt his opponent's rhythm and force them to scramble. He had also developed a keen understanding of strategy, anticipating his opponent's moves and exploiting their weaknesses. He was ranked among the top junior players in the region, and college scouts were starting to take notice. He had won several tournaments, defeating older and taller opponents with his unique style of play. His mental toughness had also improved dramatically. He was now able to stay calm under pressure, to block out distractions, and to believe in himself, even when things got tough. He had learned to embrace the challenges and to see every match as an opportunity to grow and improve. Mark and his friends were still around, but they no longer bothered Alex as much. They had witnessed his transformation firsthand, and they knew that he was no longer the same kid they used to bully. They still made occasional snide remarks, but their words had lost their sting. Alex's focus was now on the upcoming regional finals. It was the biggest tournament of his career, and a chance to prove himself on a larger stage. He knew that Mark would be competing in the tournament as well, and the thought of facing him again filled him with a mix of excitement and anticipation. He was determined to show Mark, and everyone else, just how far he had come. This time, the outcome would be different. He was ready to crush the competition and take his tennis career to the next level. Wimbledon was still the ultimate dream, but the regional finals were the next step on that journey. The day of the regional finals arrived, and the atmosphere was electric. The stands were packed with spectators, including college scouts eager to assess the talent on display. The air crackled with anticipation. This was it, the culmination of years of hard work, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. Alex walked onto the court, his heart pounding in his chest. He saw Mark standing on the other side of the net, his face a mask of confidence. Mark had also improved significantly over the past 3 years, becoming a powerful and aggressive player. The rivalry between them was palpable. Everyone knew the history, the bullying, the shared desire to win. This wasn't just a tennis match, it was a battle for respect, for redemption, and for the right to pursue their dreams. Ms. Evans gave Alex a final pep talk. "Remember everything we've worked on," she said. "Stay calm, focus on your game, and believe in yourself. You've got this." Alex nodded, taking a deep breath. He stepped onto the baseline, ready to serve. The match began, and the tension was immediate. Mark came out firing, unleashing powerful serves and aggressive ground strokes. Alex absorbed the initial onslaught, using his speed and agility to stay in the rallies. The first set was a back-and-forth battle, with both players trading blows. Mark's power was matched by Alex's finesse, his drop shots and slices disrupting Mark's rhythm. The set went to a tiebreaker, which Alex won with a perfectly placed backhand winner. The second set was even more intense. Mark raised his game, hitting even harder and more aggressively. Alex refused to back down, matching Mark's intensity with his own unwavering determination. The crowd was on the edge of their seats, captivated by the drama unfolding before them. The set went to another tiebreaker. This time, Mark took an early lead, putting Alex on the defensive. But Alex refused to give up. He fought back, winning point after point with incredible shots and unwavering resilience. At 6-6, the tension was unbearable. The next point would decide the set. Mark unleashed a powerful serve, which Alex managed to return with a desperate slice. Mark charged the net, looking to put the point away with a forehand volley. Alex anticipated the move, and with lightning speed, he raced towards the net, reaching the ball just in time. He flicked his wrist, sending a delicate drop shot over the net, landing just inches from the baseline. Mark was too far away to reach it. Alex had won the set, and the match. The crowd erupted in applause, cheering for the little guy, who had defied the odds to defeat his tormentor and claim the regional championship. As Alex celebrated his victory, shaking hands with Mark at the net, he noticed something unexpected. Mark, for the first time, offered a genuine smile and a handshake that wasn't laced with malice. "Good game, Alex," Mark said, his voice sincere. "You really earned it." The words meant more to Alex than any trophy. He had not only won the regional championship, but he had also earned the respect of his former tormentor. As Alex walked off the court, he was greeted by a thunderous ovation. Ms. Evans rushed to embrace him, her eyes filled with pride. "I always knew you could do it," she said. "You never gave up, and you never stopped believing in yourself." College scouts approached Alex, offering him scholarships to play tennis at their universities. His dream of playing professional tennis was now within reach. But more importantly, Mark's friends, Jake, Ryan, and Tom, approached Alex. They looked genuinely contrite. "Hey, Alex," Jake began, "we wanted to say sorry for all the stuff we did back then. You're an amazing player, and we were just being jerks." Ryan and Tom nodded in agreement. Alex, surprised but touched by their apology, simply smiled and said, "Thanks, guys. It's water under the bridge." He realized that his victory had not only transformed his own life, but it had also had a positive impact on those around him. He had shown Mark and his friends that bullying was wrong, and that hard work and perseverance could overcome any obstacle. The victory over Mark wasn't just about tennis, it was about showing everyone that being small didn't mean you were weak. It was about proving that kindness and perseverance were more powerful than negativity and bullying. With the regional championship under his belt, Alex set his sights on his ultimate goal, Wimbledon. He knew that the road ahead would be challenging, but he was confident that he could achieve his dream. He had the talent, the determination, and the support of his coach, his family, and his friends. He was ready to take on the world. The journey to Wimbledon had just begun. It was going to be amazing. The months leading up to Wimbledon were a whirlwind of training, travel, and preparation. Alex accepted a scholarship to a top-tier university with a renowned tennis program, but he deferred his enrollment for a year to focus solely on his Wimbledon dream. He traveled to Europe, competing in several junior tournaments to gain experience playing on different surfaces and against international competition. He faced tough opponents, players with different styles and strategies, but he never wavered in his determination. Ms. Evans continued to coach him, providing guidance and support from afar. They spoke on the phone every day, discussing his training, his matches, and his mental state. She reminded him to stay focused, to believe in himself, and to never give up on his dream. The pressure was immense. The weight of expectations, the scrutiny of the media, the knowledge that so many people were counting on him, it all threatened to overwhelm him at times. But Alex refused to let the pressure break him. He drew strength from his past experiences, from the bullying he had endured, from the loss to Mark in the first tournament, from all the challenges he had overcome. He visualized himself playing at Wimbledon, stepping onto the hallowed grounds, hearing the roar of the crowd. He imagined himself holding the trophy high above his head, a symbol of his hard work, his perseverance, and his triumph over adversity. Finally, the day arrived when Alex received the official invitation to compete at Wimbledon. It was a dream come true. He held the letter in his hands, his heart pounding with excitement. He had made it. He was going to Wimbledon. He called Ms. Evans immediately, sharing the good news. They both cried tears of joy, celebrating the culmination of years of hard work and dedication. As he packed his bags for London, Alex reflected on his journey. He had come so far from the shy, bullied kid who dreamed of playing tennis. He was now a confident, skilled, and determined young man, ready to take on the world. He knew that Wimbledon would be the biggest challenge of his life, but he was ready to face it head-on. He had a dream to chase, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way. Stepping onto the manicured lawns of the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club felt surreal. Wimbledon. The name itself resonated with history, tradition, and the echoes of legendary matches. Alex took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. This was it. He was here. The atmosphere was electric. The grounds buzzed with excitement, the air filled with the chatter of spectators, the click of cameras, and the rhythmic thud of tennis balls. Alex felt a surge of both nervousness and exhilaration. He was surrounded by the best players in the world, and he was about to compete among them. He checked into his accommodation, a small but comfortable room provided by the tournament organizers. He unpacked his bags, carefully laying out his tennis clothes and equipment. He wanted everything to be perfect. He spent the next few days familiarizing himself with the courts, practicing his shots, and adjusting to the unique playing surface. The grass was faster and more unpredictable than anything he had ever played on before. He needed to adapt quickly if he wanted to have any chance of success. He also spent time studying his opponents, analyzing their strengths and weaknesses. He knew that he would be facing tough competition, but he was determined to give it his all. Ms. Evans arrived in London to support him, offering encouragement and guidance. Her presence calmed his nerves and boosted his confidence. "Remember, Alex," she said, "Wimbledon is just another tennis tournament. Don't let the pressure get to you. Focus on your game, play your best, and have fun." On the eve of his first match, Alex couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned in bed, replaying different scenarios in his head. He knew that he was the underdog, that few people expected him to win. But he didn't care. He had come too far to let fear hold him back. He closed his eyes and visualized himself playing the perfect match, hitting every shot with precision and purpose. He imagined himself winning, holding the trophy high above his head. He knew that it would be a long and difficult journey, but he was ready for the challenge. He had a dream to chase, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way. Wimbledon was his stage, and he was ready to perform. He was Alex, the little guy with the big heart, and he was about to stun the world. Alex's training at Wimbledon was unlike anything he had experienced before. The intensity was higher, the competition fiercer, and the pressure immense. He was surrounded by world-class players, each vying for the same prize. He spent hours on the practice courts, honing his skills and adjusting to the slick grass surface. He worked on his serve, trying to generate more power and spin. He practiced his ground strokes, focusing on accuracy and consistency. He refined his drop shots and slices, trying to make them even more deceptive and effective. He also spent time working on his physical conditioning, running sprints, lifting weights, and doing agility drills. He knew that he needed to be in peak physical shape to compete at the highest level. Ms. Evans was his constant companion, providing guidance and support every step of the way. She helped him analyze his game, identify his weaknesses, and develop strategies to overcome them. She also helped him manage his nerves and stay focused on his goals. The other players were formidable. They were taller, stronger, and more experienced than Alex. They had won Grand Slam titles and competed at the highest level for years. Alex knew that he was the underdog, but he refused to be intimidated. He studied their games, watching their matches and analyzing their techniques. He tried to learn from them, to glean any advantage he could. The media attention was also intense. Reporters from all over the world were eager to interview Alex, to learn about his story, his background, and his Wimbledon dream. He tried to be polite and accommodating, but he also knew that he needed to protect his time and energy. The pressure was mounting, but Alex refused to let it break him. He drew strength from his past experiences, from the bullying he had endured, from the loss to Mark in the first tournament, from all the challenges he had overcome. He knew that he was capable of achieving anything he set his mind to. He had worked hard, he had prepared well, and he had the support of his coach, his family, and his friends. He was ready to take on the world. He repeated a mantra to himself, "I am strong, I am confident, I am a champion." He would show the world that even the little guy could achieve great things. Wimbledon, here I come. The first round of Wimbledon arrived, and Alex was drawn against a seasoned veteran, a player known for his powerful serve and aggressive net play. The odds were stacked against Alex, but he refused to be intimidated. He walked onto the court, the roar of the crowd washing over him. He took a deep breath, reminding himself of all the hard work he had put in, all the sacrifices he had made. He was ready. The match began, and his opponent immediately put him on the defensive with his booming serves. Alex struggled to return them, falling behind early in the first set. But he refused to give up. He adjusted his strategy, using his speed and agility to chase down every ball. He disrupted his opponent's rhythm with his drop shots and slices. He fought back, winning point after point, surprising the audience with his resilience and determination. He won the first set in a tiebreaker, stunning the crowd. His opponent, visibly frustrated, tried to regain control in the second set, but Alex refused to let him. He played with incredible focus and intensity, hitting every shot with precision and purpose. He won the second set easily, securing his place in the second round. The crowd erupted in applause, cheering for the little guy who had defied the odds to defeat a seasoned veteran. His unique style of play, his speed, his agility, and his strategic shot placement, captivated the audience. He was becoming a fan favorite, a symbol of hope and inspiration. He continued his winning streak in the next few rounds, defeating one tough opponent after another. He was gaining recognition for his talent, his determination, and his unwavering belief in himself. The media attention intensified. Reporters from all over the world were clamoring to interview him, to learn about his story, his background, and his Wimbledon dream. He was no longer just the little guy from Meadow Creek, he was Alex, the Wimbledon sensation, the player who was defying the odds and capturing the hearts of fans around the world. He was on a roll, and he wasn't about to stop now. He had a dream to chase, and he would let nothing stand in his way. The world was watching, and he was ready to show them what he was capable of. He was ready to stun them all. The fourth round of Wimbledon pitted Alex against the world number one, a towering figure known for his powerful serve and relentless baseline game. He was the favorite to win the tournament, a legend in the making. The match was played on center court, the most prestigious court in the world. The stands were packed with spectators, including royalty, celebrities, and tennis fans from all over the globe. The atmosphere was electric. Alex walked onto the court, trying to ignore the pressure. He knew that he was the underdog, that few people expected him to win. But he also knew that he had the talent, the determination, and the support of his coach, his family, and his friends. He was ready to give it his all. The match began, and his opponent immediately asserted his dominance, unleashing thunderous serves and aggressive ground strokes. Alex struggled to keep up, falling behind early in the first set. The crowd was stunned. They had come to see a competitive match, but it looked like it was going to be a one-sided affair. But Alex refused to give up. He adjusted his strategy, using his speed and agility to chase down every ball. He disrupted his opponent's rhythm with his drop shots and slices. He fought back, winning point after point, surprising the audience with his resilience and determination. He won the first set in a tiebreaker, sending shockwaves through the tennis world. The crowd erupted in applause, cheering for the little guy who was defying the odds and taking on the world number one. His opponent, visibly frustrated, tried to regain control in the second set, but Alex refused to let him. He played with incredible focus and intensity, hitting every shot with precision and purpose. He won the second set 6-4, putting himself one set away from the biggest upset in Wimbledon history. The tension in the stadium was unbearable. The crowd was on the edge of their seats, captivated by the drama unfolding before them. The third set was a back-and-forth battle, with both players trading blows. Alex's opponent, rattled and desperate, began making uncharacteristic errors. Alex, sensing an opportunity, pressed his advantage. In a stunning display of skill and determination, Alex won the third set 7-5, completing the upset and sending the tennis world into a frenzy. The crowd erupted in a deafening roar, chanting his name. He had done it. He had defeated the world number one. He had stunned the tennis world. He was no longer just the little guy from Meadow Creek, he was Alex, the Wimbledon giant killer, the player who was rewriting the record books. He was a legend in the making. The semifinals presented Alex with another formidable challenge. His opponent was a crafty veteran known for his unpredictable style and mental toughness. He was a master of deception, using every trick in the book to throw his opponents off their game. The match was a grueling affair, lasting over 4 hours. The veteran tested Alex's patience and resolve, pushing him to his physical and mental limits. The first set was a seesaw battle, with both players trading blows. Alex relied on his speed and agility to chase down every ball, while his opponent used his experience and cunning to disrupt Alex's rhythm. The set went to a tiebreaker, which Alex narrowly lost. Down a set, Alex knew he had to dig deep. He adjusted his strategy, becoming even more aggressive and taking more risks. He started attacking the net, putting pressure on his opponent to make quick decisions. The second set was a roller coaster ride, with both players displaying incredible skill and determination. Alex won the set 7-5, leveling the match. The third and fourth sets were equally intense, with both players refusing to give an inch. Alex's opponent used every trick in the book to try and break Alex's concentration, including stalling, complaining to the umpire, and even feigning injury. But Alex refused to be rattled. He stayed focused on his game, reminding himself of all the hard work he had put in, all the sacrifices he had made. He was determined to reach the Wimbledon final. He won the third set 6-4, putting himself one set away from victory. But his opponent refused to go down without a fight. He raised his game in the fourth set, hitting even harder and more aggressively. Alex was exhausted, his legs burning, his lungs aching. But he refused to give up. He dug deep, finding the strength to battle back. In a dramatic finish, Alex won the fourth set 7-6, securing his place in the Wimbledon final. The crowd erupted in a thunderous ovation, celebrating his incredible victory. He had overcome another formidable opponent, proving that he had the heart, the skill, and the determination to compete at the highest level. One more match to go. One more hurdle to clear. Wimbledon, here I come. The day of the Wimbledon final dawned bright and clear. The atmosphere in London was electric. The entire world was watching, eager to see if Alex, the little guy from Meadow Creek, could pull off the impossible and win the championship. Alex woke up early, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement. He ate a light breakfast, went for a short walk, and meditated to clear his mind. He needed to be at his best, both physically and mentally. He arrived at the All England Club, greeted by a throng of reporters and photographers. He tried to stay focused, reminding himself of all the hard work he had put in, all the sacrifices he had made. This was it. The moment he had been dreaming of his entire life. He walked into the locker room, finding it filled with a mix of tension and camaraderie. He exchanged greetings with his opponent, a seasoned veteran known for his grace and sportsmanship. They were both about to compete for the biggest prize in tennis, but they respected each other immensely. Ms. Evans gave Alex a final pep talk. "Remember, Alex," she said, "you've already won. You've proven that you belong here, that you can compete with the best in the world. Just go out there, have fun, and give it your all." Alex nodded, taking a deep breath. He knew that the pressure was immense, but he was determined to stay calm and focused. He had come too far to let fear hold him back. He walked onto center court, the roar of the crowd washing over him. He looked up at the stands, seeing faces from all over the world. He saw his family, his friends, and Ms. Evans, all cheering him on. He took his place on the baseline, ready to serve. He bounced the ball a few times, closed his eyes for a moment, and then unleashed a powerful serve. The Wimbledon final had begun. This was his chance to make history, to inspire the world, and to prove that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and never give up on your dreams. He was ready. He was Alex, the Wimbledon finalist, and he was about to give it his all. The journey of a lifetime was about to reach its climax. The Wimbledon final was a match for the ages, a nail-biting contest filled with suspense and incredible tennis. Alex and his opponent battled back and forth, pushing each other to their limits. The first set was a tense affair, with both players holding serve comfortably. Alex used his speed and agility to chase down every ball, while his opponent relied on his power and precision to dictate the rallies. The set went to a tiebreaker, which Alex won with a perfectly placed drop shot. The second set was equally tight, with both players refusing to give an inch. Alex's opponent raised his game, hitting even harder and more aggressively. Alex countered with his clever strategy and deceptive shots, disrupting his opponent's rhythm. The set went to another tiebreaker, which Alex narrowly lost. The third set was a turning point in the match. Alex started to tire, his legs feeling heavy, his lungs burning. His opponent sensed an opportunity and pressed his advantage, winning the set 6-4. Down 2-1, Alex knew he had to dig deep. He remembered all the hard work he had put in, all the sacrifices he had made. He thought of Ms. Evans, his family, and his friends, all cheering him on. He couldn't let them down. He found a new surge of energy, and his game was elevated. He started playing with even more speed and agility, chasing down every ball and making his opponent work for every point. He also began attacking the net more aggressively, putting pressure on his opponent to make quick decisions. The fourth set was a thrilling display of skill and determination. Alex won the set 6-4, leveling the match and sending the crowd into a frenzy. The fifth and final set was a battle of wills. Both players were exhausted, but neither was willing to give up. The set went to a deciding game, with the score tied at 5-5. Alex served first, winning the point with a powerful ace. He won the next point with a clever drop shot, putting himself 1 point away from victory. His opponent served next, winning the point with a booming forehand. The score was tied at deuce. The next point was a long and intense rally, with both players trading blows. Alex chased down every ball, refusing to give up. Finally, his opponent made a mistake, hitting the ball into the net. Alex had match point. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes for a moment, and then stepped up to serve. This was it. The moment he had been dreaming of his entire life. Alex tossed the ball into the air, took a deep breath, and swung with all his might. The ball soared through the air, landing perfectly in the service box for an ace. The crowd erupted in a deafening roar. Alex had won Wimbledon. He dropped his racket, raised his arms in triumph, and let out a joyous shout. He had done it. He had achieved his lifelong dream. The net, he ran towards Ms. Evans, who rushed onto the court to embrace him, tears streaming down her face. "I knew you could do it, Alex," she cried. "I always believed in you." He shook hands with his opponent, who congratulated him with a gracious smile. He had fought valiantly, but today was Alex's day. He climbed into the stands to hug his family and friends, all of whom were beaming with pride. He had made them so proud. He walked back onto the court, where he was presented with the Wimbledon trophy. He raised it high above his head, the crowd erupting in another thunderous ovation. He had proven that size doesn't matter, that hard work and dedication can overcome any obstacle. He had inspired millions of people around the world with his story of resilience, determination, and unwavering belief in himself. He gave a heartfelt speech, thanking his coach, his family, his friends, and his fans. He dedicated his victory to all the underdogs, all the dreamers, all the people who had been told that they couldn't achieve their goals. "Never give up on your dreams," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Believe in yourself, work hard, and never let anyone tell you that you can't do something. Anything is possible if you set your mind to it." The crowd roared its approval. Alex had not only won Wimbledon, but he had also won the hearts of the world. He was a true champion, both on and off the court. As he walked off the court, clutching the Wimbledon trophy, he knew that his life would never be the same. He had achieved his dream, and he had inspired millions of people along the way. He was Alex, the little guy from Meadow Creek, and he had conquered the world. The journey had been long and difficult, but it had all been worth it. He had proven that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and never give up on your dreams. He was a Wimbledon champion. The end. Or was it just the beginning? The celebrations continued long into the night. Alex was surrounded by his family, his friends, and Ms. Evans, all sharing in his joy and triumph. They had supported him every step of the way, and he couldn't have done it without them. He received phone calls and messages from people all over the world, congratulating him on his victory and praising his courage and determination. He was overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and support. Later that night, after the crowds had dispersed and the celebrations had subsided, Alex sat alone in his hotel room, reflecting on his journey. He thought back to all the challenges he had faced, the bullying he had endured, the doubts he had overcome. He remembered the early morning training sessions, the sacrifices he had made, the unwavering support of Ms. Evans. He thought about the loss to Mark in the first tournament, and how it had fueled his determination to become better. He realized that his victory at Wimbledon was not just about tennis, it was about overcoming adversity, believing in yourself, and never giving up on your dreams. It was about proving that anything is possible if you set your mind to it. He knew that his life would never be the same. He was now a role model, an inspiration to millions of people around the world. He had a responsibility to use his platform to make a positive impact on the world. He vowed to continue working hard, to continue improving his game, and to continue inspiring others to pursue their dreams. He would never forget where he came from, and he would always be grateful for the support he had received along the way. He knew that the road ahead would be challenging, but he was ready to face it head-on. He had proven that he could overcome any obstacle, that he could achieve anything he set his mind to. He was Alex, the little guy from Meadow Creek, and he had conquered the world. As he drifted off to sleep, clutching the Wimbledon trophy, he smiled. He had achieved his dream, and he had inspired millions of people along the way. The journey had been long and difficult, but it had all been worth it. He had proven that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and never give up on your dreams. He was a Wimbledon champion, and his story was just beginning. And somewhere, miles away, Mark smiled, knowing that Alex's victory was a victory for everyone who had ever been told they couldn't. The end.